and of course you'll see them out there bragging about how much they love their daddy right now. They were suing him for RICO and organized crime. They were actually suing this man for millions right before he died for RICO, organized crime, racketeering, the whole bit. How many people sue their fathers for RICO and organized crime? It's pretty heavy, isn't it?
Yeah.
And they were forcing him into settling because they said that he had stolen their songs that they wrote when they were 2 and 3 years old. I'm a songwriter, and I can honestly tell you, I don't think I ever wrote a song when I was 2 or 3. And if I did, I sure don't recall it.
Let me ask you a question.
And
who or what has control over all of James Brown's money right now?
Right now, the state stepped in.
Okay, because he had no will.
How it stepped in was, yes, there is a will, but the judge decided he didn't want to go along with the will, so he was going to change the will. And he removed Buddy Dallas and moved the other 2 trustees that James Brown had added on in the year 2000. And then the daughters, how this all started was the minute their father died and they demanded no autopsy on their father. And if you can remember, Mr. Reverend Al Sharpton, his right-hand man, was with James Brown when he died. Immediately, they told the doctors no autopsy.
Now, I'm getting a question from my producer, Ann. She's asking me, but how come it was a really long time before they buried his body?
I'm going to get into that.
Sorry.
She's good. She's good.
I love her, yeah.
She's ahead of me. They literally took the body, refused for an autopsy, had the body hidden all around. Nobody knew where it was. Buddy Dallas didn't know, and this is his client.
The daughters took it?
Yes. And they didn't want anybody to get near the body because an autopsy would have showed how he died and how much lethal drugs were in his body. Now, they're out telling the world he died of pneumonia and died of a heart attack, but that really wasn't it. He didn't die of pneumonia and he didn't die of a heart attack.
What does the coroner's report say?
Well, that's where it gets a little murky, okay? I think they just put on their heart attack or pneumonia, okay? But the doctor told me that he had just checked him, he was fixing to release him, that he knew something was very, very wrong with some of the people that were there with him, and he left the room, and of course, Mr. Bobbitt's story is he went to go get a bottle of Ensure at 12:20 at night in the Crawford Long Hospital. But if you have a patient in the hospital with a heart attack, the nurses monitor everything, and the pharmacy was closed. So where did he go to get this bottle of Ensure? And why at 12:20 at night did he decide that he needed to go get this bottle of Ensure? Okay? So to make a long story short, they took the body, and they kept the body out for a long length of time, and he had designated where he wanted to be buried. He wanted to be buried, he had showed me, next to his father and next to Adrian Brown, who also died of suspicious circumstances, his wife, 10 years earlier, and in the hospital with a lethal overdose of drugs, which was also said to be a heart attack. And I worked on that diligently because she was my friend, and I knew she had been murdered. And, of course, it was during the O.J. Simpson case, so it was covered up. Mm. So you get into Mr. Brown dying here, and they decide to take him on tour. Reverend Sharpton took him up to the Apollo, and they were taking him all around in different outfits. And
is that fun?
I mean, it was, yeah. I mean, is that not crazy? And they're holding all this stuff and carrying on, and of course Michael Jackson comes to the funeral, and everybody came to the funeral, and they finally did have it, which went on forever before they finally did. CNN ran round-the-clock news, and they were very closed mouth on everything, and the daughters immediately, the minute their father died, filed when they realized that their daddy had told them the truth, that they weren't going to get anything. They filed papers against Buddy Dallas and for the courts that they wanted them removed because we had coerced Mr. Brown with a gun, basically, to leave all his money to the poor and needy. And this is what started the huge snowball that, happened. And the judge, they hired all these big-time lawyers, and they made everybody out to be, this was a criminal thing they forced our daddy, they forced him to give up multi-millions to the poor and needy. It's what he wanted to do. It's what he'd want. I got video footage of this man talking.
Did these daughters wind up with any money?
This gets really good, okay?
Yeah.
This gets really good. On the day of the funeral, one of the daughters, Dr. Yama Brown, she's a pharmacist, her husband steps out into the public and goes on Channel 46 and gives an interview and says, there is not a bone in my body that believes that my father-in-law died of a heart attack. My father-in-law was murdered. On the day of the funeral, his wife stabs him. Are you ready for this? She stabs him on the day of the funeral. Who stabs their husband on the day of the funeral of their father? Unless he's threatening to blow the lid.
Is any of this in the movie?
What? No, none of this is in the movie.
This is the movie,
none of
man.
The rape's not in the movie.
Yeah.
None of this is in the movie. Everything's been kept like, South Carolina has kept the lid on this like a pressure cooker. You know why? Because they don't want the public they don't want hundreds of millions going out to the poor and needy. They're sitting down there with the bow tie club under a judge, and he's put in a court-appointed
executor.
A court-appointed, not executor, but a CPA over the money, right?
Okay.
But here's what's good about it, okay? This is the third one he's appointed because the other were found to rip off the trust. They held that huge fire sale up at Christie's, sold off his stuff, and the trustee kept all the money herself, never even turned it over to the trust. That's how bad this has gotten. So one reporter has gone for the the FOIA reports, right? All the secrets that the Attorney General does not feel belongs to the public. That the Attorney General feels, okay, well, we can keep this quiet, and we've got hundreds of millions of dollars, and it's a children's charity, but we're not going to let the public know where the money is, and we're not going to let them know how much money it is, and we're not going to let them know anything. And down there, it's so corrupt that they throw your lawyer out of court. I mean, the judge just sits there. They don't want me in court because I have 17 crates of evidence to prove 100% the truth that this man, I have him speaking, his mouth moving, his eyes blinking, talking about the I Feel Good Trust and how he wants everything to go. And this dates all the way back to 1985.
Okay, 1 second. Now wait, the daughters the daughters started this off. They started the ball rolling. They have not gotten any money out of this, right?
Well, they're doing pretty good. One made $180,000 on the premiere the other night in Augusta when she sold tickets for it.
Still peanuts,
and brought it down there.
Peanuts comparing to the value of this trust, it's still peanuts.
Well, okay, let's look at what they've done, okay? So now they've got somebody controlling, and this thing was fought all the way to the South Carolina Supreme Court. And guess what the Supreme Court said last year?
What?
To the Attorney General and to the daughters and to all these people that have done this, okay? Their ruling was, you ripped off the poor and needy. You pirated this trust. You violated your job as an Attorney General. You have violated the rights of the poor and needy, and you all are out of here. You're all out of this. This case needs to start over again with the truth. Do you know that was a year ago, and that judge is still down there holding court with the very same people, the daughters, and they're debating DNAs, and they're doing this and doing that, and they're not even obeying the United States Supreme Court.
Yeah, I'm
Is
not
that not crazy?
No, I'm not that surprised. This stuff happens. Okay, I get calls like this all the time. People, like yourself, that are involved in multi-million-dollar trusts that they got screwed out of the money, and no one knows what's going on, and this one's doing this and this, and there's trustees and there's executors, and they're all got their hands in their pockets, and lawyers. Okay, it's 6:35.
Yeah.
Now, one thing we can do is, if you're feeling fresh and you want to go on, we can go on past and do an after show and take some phone calls, and it's a lot more casual too. It may broadcast live, or it'll definitely be up on the internet and stuff like that. You want to keep going?
Yeah.
Okay, great.
Let's keep going for door number 3.
Okay, I knew you would. Everybody wants, I don't tell anybody beforehand, because otherwise they say, oh, what, 3 hours? I'll never do 3 hours. 4 hours. But thank God. Okay, we're going to be taking phone calls. The number to call in after this break, I'm going to read some commercials too, is 702-605, I think it's 4894. And we'll call in with some questions for Jacque Hollander, the victim of James Brown, the friend of James Brown, the partner of James Brown. Still probably has some love for James Brown. I think she forgives him, man. This is really...
I did forgive him.
Yeah, I can tell. 702-605-4894. Let me read some commercials. Take a little break there and get a glass of water. I can't thank you enough, man. You're doing great tonight. Thank you very much.
It took years. It took years to forgive.
Yeah, I know. I'm still doing the things I can't forgive myself right now. But real quick, let me read some commercials, and then we'll continue with this amazing story with Jacque Hollander, a partner of James Brown, confidant and insider with Michael Jackson and Al Sharpton, and all kinds of other stuff, too. I can only imagine. We'll get into more questions about that kind of stuff. Pacific West Bamboo, 503-839-8126. Everybody knows Amanda over at Pacific West Bamboo. Little known fact that Amanda was there on Gilligan's Island when they needed to build those huts, and then all those huts were built by Pacific West Bamboo, your number one source for timber construction, craft-grade bamboo poles, plants, and products. If you have a craft, you want to make a little fountain, you want to do a project at school, contact Pacific West Bamboo. And you're going to hear all about their great products. They got a Facebook page called Pacific West Bamboo, just as similar to the name of the company, Pacific West Bamboo. 503-839-8126. They can and do ship nationwide. You'll be sitting at home. The mailman knocks on your door. We got some bamboo for you. Anybody here to take it? And they bring in the bamboo. You do whatever you want with it. Okay. InfinityHomePlans.com. This is Mike Gray, my buddy over at InfinityHomePlans.com. Check out Infinity Home Plans and Design Services, your resource for 3D, 2D, draftsman services. They offer a multitude of products, including stock home plans, 2D digital drawing sets, 3D models and renderings, and more. If you're doing any kind of a project where you think you need designs or you need home plans, contact Mike Gray. Tell Mike Gray I sent you. Mike Gray is a great guy. He's a huge supporter of this show, and I want you to promise me that if you have any kind of project you're working on, that requires draft services or requires these kind of services in these areas, InfinityHomePlans.com. Get a hold of Mike Gray. My daughter Victoria has a show debuting tomorrow, not debuting, but on tomorrow, like the 5th or 6th show on Teen Truth, CJMarsRadio.com, 1 p.m. And I'm her guest, and we're going to be talking about some struggles that we're going through right now. Speaking of which, if you want to Google on GoFundMe.com, it's called Help Save My Family by Ed Opperman on GoFundMe.com. We're looking for your help to help me out with my litigation in court here with my kid and my ex-wife and all kind of stuff we have. It's a crisis situation. We need your help. Please lend us your support. Help Save My Family by Ed Opperman on GoFundMe.com. Okay, check it out. We need your help, guys. EmailRevealer.com, your home of the online infidelity investigation. Do you think your boyfriend's cheating on you? You think your husband's cheating on you? Did you know that 30% of the people using online dating websites are either